Okay, we're back. I had to delete that last video and start over. So awesome. Okay, we're back. We're back live. Alrighty. Let me refresh my page to ensure that we are. Oh, yay! We're back. Cool beans. Cool beans. Good deal. Okay. So I am going to wait just a few, and for those that will catch the replay, I will go ahead and share the information at the beginning, and then as we start the live or end the video, I'll be sure to share it again for those who are about to come on and join me. Uh, if you do not know, I have a motivational group called the Thrive Tribe. It's for women who desire to thrive in faith, family, and purpose. And you can join the Thrive Tribe and subscribe to receive weekly content delivered right to your mailbox at shanquettacunningham.com/thrive. And I can actually put that in the chat. Hey, great lady, how are you? So I wanted to share that as I wait again for people that will be on the replay, and then I'm going to repeat it after as well. So if you want to receive inspirational content, woman, every woman needs a tribe, and you need different extensions of yourself with different people. I know that I have a tribe of women that I can pray with, and that may look different from the people that I talk about business with, and about womanhood and femininity with. And every woman needs a tribe. And so the beautiful thing about the Thrive Tribe and when we meet up is that you get to find spaces and women that you can connect with. It's amazing that now in a Thrive Tribe, I have women that's collaborating on events together. Also, if you don't know, I operate Over a Cup, which is the only networking group for Black women entrepreneurs in Northeast Arkansas. And you can follow the page at Over a Cup on Facebook. But we have a private messenger group for the women that are consistently in Over a Cup and want to exchange advice about entrepreneurship and supporting one another. And it's a beautiful thing. Every woman, you need a tribe. You need a tribe, and a part of our frustration, is because we are not aligned with the right people for the assignments. You know, your best friend may love you as a person and love your family, but not necessarily the tribe for your business, right? So, again, those are just two avenues of extensions of me, of advocacy of Over a Cup and supporting Black women entrepreneurs. That slash thrive. So, uh, hey, hun, I just wanted to share that as I'm waiting for just for people to join. And let me grab me a sip right quick of water. All righty. So, listen, I'm excited about this topic. The reason why, whoo, for multiple reasons, but even in this moment of, I had to get a cough drop, and so honestly, it's why my tongue's red. I'm sorry. And then I have to get some water. I have to restart this video. So I'm excited about sharing this information because obviously it's needed to be shared. And I just thank God and we're pleading the blood of Jesus. And we're going to go ahead. I do have an ask. We're talking about marriage. This is for men and women. So if you yourself would like, share, love, invite some women in the chat to join in that are married or in, I have my babies are Nettleton Raiders. This is not affiliated with Nettleton. I love this sweatshirt. And I have it on. Okay, so we're rocking and rolling. Alrighty. I haven't done a Wisdom Wednesday in quite a while. And so today's Wisdom Wednesday topic, we're going to talk about marriage. I hope y'all can still see me because it's in waiting for a live video signal. Um, so yeah, I'm telling you, we're gonna push through. And there are, we're gonna dive into it, but I would like to say that I know that the highest fulfillment in life, of course, is not for people to be married. Because if, that's the case, the earthly assignment of Jesus did not involve marriage. Now we know the spiritual connection, the analogy that Christ is the bride of the spiritual and holy significance and symbolism of redemption and the connection. We know that that's the illustration of marriage. And so, I want to preface this conversation with that. For those that are assigned for alignment, that for those that are assigned to walk with a spouse, and for while we're on this side of heaven, I wanted to share some tips because we are living in times, and I can only speak for the times that I see, and every generation has its times and things that can counter what marriage is. And now we're definitely living in a time of the identity of marriage and who's who in marriage and sexuality and all this stuff. But as a kingdom entrepreneur, I am that. But as a kingdom woman, as not perfect, uh, in my relationship with Christ, but striving every day to the progression of being all that God wants me to be, there is, I do believe, an assignment for our marriages. And I also, the enemy uh, would like to present tactics and distractions and things that can try to offset the purpose or even have you question where you are supposed to be at, and if you are supposed to be together. And then we have social media and reality shows that can really thwart what it is that God um, needs from us in our companionship. So I want to give you 5 key pieces of wisdom, not exclusive, of course, to the wisdom that can be shared, but just 5, keys and strategies that I pray will bless you and for you and your spouse to talk about as you all pursue and live out godly marriages. Again, if you would like, love, share, invite someone to join the video. That would be great. I think I am a little off on my phone as far as uh, where I'm at. It's like a little delay, but we're going to push through because the assignment is to get this message out. Alrighty, so again, this list is not exclusive or exhaustive, but I wanted just to share some things that, again, I pray that will bless you in your marriage and just have you reflect on this midday chat. And as well, if you are watching this, especially if you're a guy, I'm really wanting my husband to come on with me. This here, come on with me this Thursday to have a further discussion. So y'all pray with me. He is not the talker, but when I say that my husband is just a man of wisdom, I really would like to have this full discussion with him. If you all don't know, we have been married since we were 19 years old, and so we've been together nearly 20 years, and just a lot of teachable moments from experience. And so, yeah, so y'all pray. I'm really wanting him to have this full discussion with me, but we're going to get to it. Okay. So, one of the first tips I want to share with you, and I have 5, I may get through with 5, I may not. But one of the first tips I want to share is that one, you need marriage mentors and not marriage goals. And so I know that we all see all this hashtag marriage goals, hashtag relationship goals. You know, I think me and my husband are at a place to where we value when people say, "Oh, we look up to you all's marriage and it inspires us," and we're happy with that. You know, we don't necessarily want to be your marriage goals, but the inspiration to get closer to God in your union and then figure out that partnership and how God needs you all to be partners in the earth for the larger purpose of what he needs to be done and he can trust you to do through children, through, you know, assignments and businesses and ministry, right? There's an assignment for your alignment. Now I keep saying that there is an assignment for your alignment, and every marriage has their own assignment. And so, as you are looking, and especially if you're new marriages or you're in seasons to where you're going through difficult times, I will tell you get marriage mentors, not marriage goals. Just follow people on social media because you don't know the full story, right? Get people that you can talk to, whether it's someone your husband can talk to from a man's perspective, and you can talk to as a woman, you know, to get wisdom as a wife. Get marriage mentors early while you are in the happy stage so that when those times come, and they're going to come, and they are going to come when you are going to, like, listen, I need to have some real conversations right now. They will come. You want to have those people in place. So, because frustration can have you also going to the wrong people with, or let me say the right people, I can say, but with the wrong motive. When you get people that are for you in your marriage during the blissful times, they're more than likely to be honest with you because then you'll go on a search to try to find people and only share your side of what is right in the story and what's going on. And marriage mentors, because they understand the kingdom assignment and the vow that you took before God, marriage mentors will say, hey, I love you enough to say this is where you error at for your assignment. And I'm not going down a rabbit hole because, like, what if they're abusing and all this stuff? Child, I'm not talking about any of that because, we can go real on the deep end when you're looking for escapes or looking to contradict something or go against something. I do believe in a godly standard of marriage, and I do believe that you need mentors and that not every problem warrants a divorce. We just need certain skills that need to be developed, and that's where marriage mentors come in, that those people can be the direct influence to you, or they can point you to the next right people for godly counsel. So tip number one, you need marriage mentors, not marriage goals. Number two, forgive quickly and forgive often. Child, I know. But it's the absolute truth. Forgive quickly, forgive often. Again, no rabbit hole situations here. Getting into it and saying the wrong things, and you receiving things in the wrong way, or you saying things in the wrong way, or your actions. Matthew 18, the 18th chapter, 21 and 22. We're all familiar with the verse when Peter asked Jesus, Lord, how often, my brother sinned against me. I'm paraphrasing, I know, but how often do I forgive him? 7 times? And then Jesus was like, no, Peter, let's up that. And we're going to go with, 70 times 7. So if we do the numerical calculation of that, that's 490 times. So I don't believe Jesus was really wanting us to have a pen and a paper and it was like, January 23rd, offense number 1. March 31st, offense number 3, 4, and 5. Oh, I forgot 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right, we're not going to keep this tangible number, Because what Jesus is really sharing with us, I believe, is that we're not, again, First Corinthians 13 chapter shares that with us and gives us some insight that we're not supposed to keep this record of wrongs. And so being that too is really impossible, because it's not only your brother and your sister and your husband, but we're talking about, co-workers and group members, all of this stuff, right? You think about how unrealistic that is to keep tabs on people 490 times. Basically, Jesus was saying, you're going to have to forgive quickly and forgive often and forgive a lot. And honey, that's exactly what marriage is. Forgiving a lot. And it's so easy to get mad at people that you're closer to because you interact with them more. So of course they'll offend you more. It's like when people say, I can't trust family. I got friends that's better than family. Well, to be honest, yes, the Bible says there is a friend that sticks closer than a brother, but that's a whole nother conversation about the real context of that. Um, but what we seem to forget is that with family, you're closer to them, you interact with them more. So of course they have more exposure to hurt you. And we often take it that means that outside people can treat us better. No, it's just the access. And so that's the thing with marriage. It's the access. And so with a husband and spouse, who has more time with you than your husband, than your wife, right? So with that, um, forgive quickly, forgive often, and it's going to be something that you keep doing. It's God's love is pure. His form of love is pure. Pure. Am I saying that word right? It's incorruptible. It's untainted. I don't know if I say it there right, but it's our execution of love can hurt. People say love doesn't hurt. Okay, have a baby. Have several babies. Uh, there's a love that we have as mothers with our while our child is in the womb, and then on the other side is getting that baby out. Love hurts. Love hurts, and so just be mindful of that, which leads me to go in to tip number 3 about getting rid of the myths of marriage. And that's part of that love doesn't hurt. And if a person really loves you, they wouldn't do this and do that to you. It's not true, because we're all humans. We have an spiritual experience in human form in this clay vessel. And the reality is, marriage and love is about progression, not perfection, as Pastor Michael Todd says. And it really is. And love is trying to outdo the other person to meet the needs. But sometimes we do fall short of that. And so if we go into marriage having these myths that love is all you need to, child, that's another myth. You need love, which is the foundation and the rock, and is what's going to hold everything together. But your marriage need jobs. They need communication. If there's a couple right now that's just living on love with lights on, and that's living on love, with no car note, and that's living on love with they can go to restaurants every day and not shop, and that love also pays for daycare. Find please type in or connect me with that person. Let me know. Love is the bedrock for sure, and love is the foundation. But you need skills as far as communication, cooperation. It's just a myth that love is all you need. Love is a building block, and then it allows you to grow the other necessities of your marriage. So I'm going to encourage you to let go of some of the myths, and then go seek godly counsel on those things, to where when you get hurt by what your spouse does, and the first thing that you say is, well, I thought marriage was like, that means, like, where did you get that from? Just check yourself. Like, hmm, where did that come from? Where did I hear that from? Is that biblical? And go seek it out, because a lot of times it's our own expectations. And let me tell you something, the more you go into a marriage with expectations over kingdom realities and some kingdom principles, the more you set yourself up for disappointments. It's the expectations of what's not grounded. It's the expectations of social media, and a lot of, I mean, and it's just absolute myths that love is all you need. Love is the greatest thing you need, and we know that above all things, it is love. But then in 1 Corinthians 13, we have faith, hope, and charity, which is faith, hope, and love. So along with love, we have some other things, right? And that's with marriage. You need other things. So let me get off of that, but get rid of the myths. I'm encouraging you to. Number 4. So the next tip that I have in our marriage midday talk um, is this quote that I heard. It says, "You know you're on to something better when your past wants you back." I forgot who said that quote, but I do want to say that I did not come up with that, but it's so good. I will repeat it again. You know you're on to something better when your past wants you back. You will go through tough times in your marriage. There are not perfect times. And there are certain things, especially if the younger you are getting married, you have to grow through some things, some immaturities, some naiveties on something. You have to, some things, you have to just grow through some things. And then, too, you just have to also develop your own personal skills and, again, just that maturity, right? Of how you handle, how you communicate, how, if you were the person that pops off quick, you're the person that shuts down, and then you get to a place in your groove in your marriage and you're like, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not the person that's going to lash out or uh, be so quick to misunderstand the intentions of my husband's heart and my wife's heart. And then something happens and then you revert back to your old ways of handling things. I assure you, at that place, when you want to go back to those old things and those old conversations, that's when you're really on the epicenter of your next level of growth. Like, that's when you're really about to leap into another level in your marriage. And the enemy will try its best, right, to distract you and to deter you and to throw you off. So, again, the quote, you know you are onto something better when your past wants you back. If you used to do certain things or be addicted to certain things, right? And again, something comes up and problems come up in your marriage and you want to go back to that go to. Well, I'm encouraging you to think about how did it impact your marriage then? Think about all the turmoil or the bickering or the frustrations that happened because you were in that place and you weren't refined then. So no matter what, and I get it, but don't disrespect your growth because of temporary moments of anger or frustration or problems, because nothing lasts forever. And it can be so easy, or if you're that person that always was the get back person, like, oh, when someone made you mad or upset or put you on the defense, that you were going to get back at them and you weren't wanting to one up the ante of how they made you feel. And all of those games, it literally, like, scientifically does something in, like, your brain. And I think it says it releases like poison and toxins when you operate in like constant stages of bitterness and anger, that it actually releases poisons inside your mind. So just think about what you're doing to yourself, but then think about what you're doing to your family. So when those moments come up to where you do want to just like, ugh, I want to go back because this feels better. I feel like that's my natural. It may be to your flesh, but you're at another point of growth, right? And you're doing good. And yeah, things are bad for a moment and they're awkward for a moment. But I just believe in you. And I believe there's enough. And I pray that you see that enough growth and progress in where you've come from that you don't easily want to revert back to where you've been. All right. And then tip number 5, don't be scared of the enemy, which is Satan. We can think that the enemy is in this true, that his influence can persuade humans to become our enemies because of his influence and acceptance of his influence. But what I really want to share is that there's like this battle sometimes of the sexes, men versus women. And in marriage, sometimes that can cross over, um, especially, because we're dealing in the West with cultural phenomenons of what wives should do and look like and what husbands should do and how wives should make husbands feel and how men should do this, right? It's all these things that sometimes not even found in the Bible, but it's the culture, and especially in the South. But what I am encouraging and praying for kingdom marriages is that we all come into the understanding of what it is that God wants us to do and go forth in that. And sometimes the enemy can, use your past and use where you're at or where you want to be at, and if you're not meeting goals and all of this stuff against you. And so it's kind of like we don't want to prosper in our marriages and we don't want to see what all our marriages and our unions can become because we're scared of the enemy, right? We're scared like, oh, well, if we talk about this, then, it's kind of like these old wives' tale of, child, if we put it out there of, the devil listening. Well, the devil listening to me pray and proclaim the blood of Jesus over this marriage and my children too. And I'm a firm believer that if the enemy is coming for me and my family, that it has to get through heaven first. It has to get through my angelic line of defense first. And oftentimes we get so scared of the enemy that we forget the power of God. And for your marriage and wherever you are at in your marriage and both of you are committed to one, obeying the instruction of the Lord and working it out and moving forth and raising your families, we have to release being scared of the enemy. Because I'm just a firm believer that is God, if God is for us and we're in holy covenant, who can stand against us? And not disrespecting the trials and tribulations that come upon us. But as the word tells us that we have victory, right? For Christ has overcome all of that. But we have to know that and be in that constant place of knowing. And I can assure you that at times I just have to remind myself of that because being married for nearly 20 years, things, come up and things, and you go through things. And so you have to have that constant reminder. That's why, really having the foundation of the word and being connected to people that can talk with you through your marriage and about, not someone that you go in and it's like just saying problems only to gossip. I didn't even add that on here, but don't ever gossip about like your marriage. It's one thing to share, to seek wisdom, but we have to utilize wisdom in how we share. Because the point for us to share is for us to seek wisdom in how we move forward, right? So be mindful of that. But I want to say, as well as I just wrap up, that we have to take a bold stand together and to the world, especially now. Marriage still matters. I really do believe that if you're called to the covenant, marriage still matters. You're not perfect in your marriage, and I want you to know that there is no perfect marriage, but there is a perfect God that we serve, who allows us and who has given us the holy blueprint to follow, to at least keep us on the path to where we veer off and we don't do things right, and we don't, you know, we have trouble in our relationships and we're having trouble in our finances, that we have a great resource guide, right from the creator, that will aid us. And then he allows for holy vessels to, and excuse me, for vessels to communicate his holy word on the earth for us to subscribe to, you know, with the Bible and books um, and different people and different and wise counsel. But we need all of that. So, just to recap, as I end, we're talking about marriage, and I just pray that you were able to glean a tool from this that will help you in um, in your matrimony and in your covenant. And just to remember, because sometimes too we have to be reminded. That's why it's so good. I love going to weddings, because I love to be in that atmosphere and to be reminded, right, of your own yes and in your journey. And so I pray that this today has revived you and helped you in some way. Okay, so one, you need marriage mentors and not marriage goals. Two, forgive quickly and forgive often. Three, get rid of the myths of marriage. Search for the truth. Four, don't be so quick to revert back to your past actions. And five, don't be scared of the enemy. God has you. God established you. And what God has put together, no man can put asunder. No weapon, no agenda. They may form, but they won't prosper. Alrighty? So, if you um, just received anything from this video, please love the video, share it as well, comment on it. I appreciate your feedback. And if you want to be a part of what's to come, I'm excited for next month. Next month is right around the corner. Of just diving deeper and helping women. Again, if you don't know, I started the Thrive Tribe as just a resource, and I'm in this journey. I just took the leap, still trying to figure this hair, still trying to figure this journey out. But again, about this progression, not perfection. So I started the Thrive Tribe last January as a tool to motivate women via email. We meet up, and it's only $1.99 a month. That's just the connection level. Well, I'm excited for women that really want to go deeper with me. I've been hearing it and I've been running. I will be very honest. But you know, women like, do you mentor and do how can I connect with you more? You know, and I am accepting where God is wanting to lead me. If you were to ask me 5 years ago, if you were to ask me 10 years ago, uh, was I called to women? And I would be like, child, nah. But then God had to really reel me in. Like, how can you disrespect something that you are? You know, like the women said, I don't have any friends, I can't deal with women. Child, you are a woman. You know, and so there's some, but two, there's some hurt. And really, if you start talking to women, you need to unpack. And what I recognize is that I was not liking some parts of me. And so I saw that in every woman. And so it was kind of like I'm not dealing with you. But really, what I was really saying is, I don't want to deal with me. So I thank God for the growth. And there are still some growth moments because, you know, um, women tell me all the time, you know, I'm the one and done person. Like, you can tell me something one time and I want to pray about it, get the solution of it one time. I really don't want to hear like two and three other times. You know, I'm working on that. I'm not a counselor. But what I am, though, is a pusher. What I am, though, is an encourager. What I am is the woman that if you say that God has told you something, I believe it. And I will push you and want to see all the greatness. You know, I don't have the ability. I think I was looking for another word. um, to do what God has called us to do, that we were created as women to be a solution. God said it's not good for man to be alone. There was a problem. He was lonely, right? And so God blessed us to show up and created us to show up. So if you want to join the journey and at least connect with me at the first connection level, that's 199. 199, like 2 cents a day, right? Think, yeah. To join me and to sign up for weekly emails and for our meetups, that's at shanquettacunningham.com/thrive. It's I put it in the chat earlier. Uh, and yeah, then stay tuned for how you can further connect with me and how we really connect together to thrive and to do life and to lead life as the leading women that we are. Another way that you can connect with me, if you are a woman in business, if you are a nonprofit leader, whether male or female, doesn't matter. City and state and big and small. One of the things that I do well is help leaders strategize. Um, I know that if you have a problem, whether that's in development and coordination and strategic planning, with grant writing, anything that has the capacity to get you to the next level, and you're stuck in that place, then that's the space that I operate professionally in with the Charis Group, KHARIS. And if you would like to get to that next level in your organization, in your business, let's have a chat. I need to put that in the I put that in the comments as well. I would love to at least talk with you to see if I'm the consultant for you. And to see if I am not the consultant for you, more than likely I will still know the next right step to connect you to the consultant or the space or the group or an article. Because my prayer is to always be a resource for others, whether I'm the direct resource or indirect resource. So that's the space that I hold. And all of that blends together is that I am called in a spaces of strategy, alignment, and leadership. And it goes for women, nonprofits, and businesses. So, with that, connect with me. And I pray that you all have an amazing and wonderful day. Uh, and I will see you next time. Bye bye. And thank you for joining. If I didn't say that, I appreciate in the comments. I'm going to go back and read them, but I appreciate you joining as well.